Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be talking about new Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton verdicts following the Dutch Grand Prix. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Formula 1 content. Also make sure to follow me on X at James's Pit Lane, I'll leave a link in the description, but let's jump straight into the video. So let's start with Charles Leclerc. Now, during the Dutch Grand Prix, he was caught up in an incident with George Russell. Basically, after the virtual safety car ended, Leclerc got the jump on Russell and attempted to barge his way around the outside of turn 11 and up the inside of turn 12, and Leclerc did manage to get ahead. In my opinion, it was a very aggressive and bold move, and yeah, he managed to pull it off. But when you looked at the replays, it looked like that all four wheels may have been off the circuit. It wasn't very clear, but it appeared to be that way, and it also appeared that the two cars made contact, with both suffering slight damage. Now, the stewards placed the incident under investigation after the race and looked at whether each driver could have done anything differently during the incident, and they also looked at whether Leclerc had passed Russell off the track. And the stewards have now decided that there should be no further action for either driver following that incident, meaning there's no penalties for either Leclerc or Russell. In their verdict, the steward said, "We investigated with the benefit of the driving standards guidelines whether either driver should have done something different. We also looked into whether car 16 remained on the track or left the track at turn 12. The available evidence was inconclusive as to whether car 16 left the track. Both team representatives were in agreement that there was no clear evidence that car 16 had left the track. Both drivers felt this was a racing incident and that there should be no further consequence to either driver for the incident. We reviewed all the available evidence and arrived at the same conclusion. We accordingly took no further action." Now, in my opinion, I think this was the right move from the stewards. Yes, it was quite aggressive from Leclerc. I also thought it was a bit of aggressive defending from Russell as well, but I thought it was really good fighting on track at the same time. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, just good battling between them. But in terms of Leclerc's teammate, Lewis Hamilton, he will be getting a penalty for the Italian Grand Prix. Basically, Hamilton did not have a great race in Zandvoort, with him crashing out early on. Basically, rain was falling lightly and it looked like Hamilton just got caught out, with him crashing into the wall at the bank turn 3. But following the Grand Prix, Hamilton was called to the stewards, with them citing a failing to slow under double yellow flags and to travel at a greatly reduced speed at pit entry roads. Now, this happened before the Grand Prix began, and it was on the laps to the grid, and the stewards have decided that Hamilton should get 2 penalty points on his licence for the incident, and on top of that, a drop of 5 grid positions for the next race. In their verdict, the stewards said, due to the nature of the track, the race director had informed all participants that the last corner before the pit lane would have double yellow flags waved. This was to ensure the safety of those on the grid and in the pit lane. The regulations require that any driver passing through a double wave yellow flag marshalling sector reduce speed significantly. We looked through the available telemetry within the FIA system. We also requested the team provide us with their telemetry data. All of this took some time, and this decision was delayed as a result. In addition, Article 44.1 requires all drivers covering more than 1 reconnaissance lap to drive down the pit entry road at greatly reduced speed. The data showed that the driver had entered the double yellow sector approximately 20 km per hour less than his speed at the same point in practice sessions, had reduced throttle application in order of 10% to 20%, and had lifted and braked 70 meters earlier when entering the pit lane. We did not consider that a 20 km per hour reduction in speed at a double-waved yellow sector constituted reducing speed significantly. We also did not consider the speed at which the driver entered the pit entry road as being at a greatly reduced speed. The penalty guideline for such an infringement would ordinarily attract a penalty of 10 grid positions at the next race. However, given that the driver had made an attempt to reduce his speed and to brake earlier, we took that into account as mitigating circumstances and impose a 5-place grid penalty. So yeah, Hamilton will get a 5-place grid drop for the next race in Italy, Ferrari's home Grand Prix. You know, it's Hamilton's first race in a Ferrari in Italy, and to go into that Grand Prix knowing you're going to have a drop of 5 grid positions, that's going to be annoying for Hamilton as for Ferrari. I'm sure they would have wanted everything to run smoothly, and that's going to hurt, knowing you going into that Grand Prix with one of your drivers having a 5-place grid drop. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care. Bye.